Let's go. It's Baldy here. It's the best football show with Brian Baldinger. It's Friday, Football Friday, man. Like, I think we're all super excited every Friday. It rolls around, college, NFL. Anyways, you can find the best football show by downloading a free Odyssey app and finding the best football show, liking it, subscribing to it, commenting on it. We love to we love our followers, and then you can follow me across all those social media platforms. Everything from X to TikTok to Instagram, you name it, YouTube. I'm all over. I'm going to be announcing the Giants-Eagle game, the rematch, this Sunday in Philadelphia. So you'll see me down there talking to a bunch of the players, calling it on national radio. But anyways, I mentioned it's Football Friday. That means we kicked off Week 8 last night with the Vikings and the Chargers. And honestly, if you're a Viking fan, you have major Sam Darnold regrets. Because outside of one quarter by J.J. McCarthy and a couple throws by Carson, they've gotten horrible quarterback play. And it was terrible last night against the Chargers. And the Chargers, I mean, they did anything they wanted to do. They sacked Carson Wentz. They stopped the run. But, if Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and Jalen Naylor aren't getting the ball down the field, then they're not doing their job. And so it was a great game by Justin Herbert and the Chargers to get back on track. And you got to give credit to Jim Harbaugh and to the Chargers. They bounced back from a miserable defeat by Indianapolis last week. And they bounced back like they had to in order to stay in the AFC West race. And honestly, what Kamani Vidal is doing is a real credit. He was the fourth team running back now. Think about it. He was the fourth team running back to start this season. They've had three guys get hurt, right? And so Marion Hampton, the whole group of guys. So he's the fourth team. This is his second 100-yard rushing day in the last 3 weeks, and he was awesome. He got better as the game went on. He averaged almost 6 yards a carry last night. And, he helps getting Joe Alt back, but they lost Mekhi Becton early in the game. Foster Sorrell went in there at right guard. But like a lot of teams in this league right now, and this is a league-wide trend. I talked about it yesterday. There is a league-wide trend to get tight ends and fullbacks on the field. They ran two tight ends, okay, Arande Gadsden, Taylor Fisk, along with Matlock. I mean, those guys were on the field almost every play. In fact, there was a lot of plays they were pulling Fisk and running Trey Harris as a tight end and running like counter Trey, and they popped a couple of runs. And then you saw Gadsden catch a touchdown pass last night. You saw Trey Harris catch his first NFL touchdown pass. I mean, they threw it. Honestly, they ran it 43 times last night for 207 yards. I mean, they played Harbaugh-style football. And then Herbert is just, he threw three more touchdown passes. He got 16 touchdown passes on the season. And they just torched the Viking defense last night. The defense that was amongst the top in the league last year, they don't look anything like it this year. Nothing. They can't get to the quarterback. They're not taking the ball away like they were. They had 33 takeaways last year. After last night and after 8 games right now, the Minnesota Vikings have 7 takeaways. They had 33 last year. 26 takeaways away. They got 9 more games to play. I mean, they're not taking the ball away. They were excellent against the run last year. They were second in the league against the run a year ago. This year, that's why every year is a new year. This year, with almost the same player, actually upgrades at defensive tackle and bringing in Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave, Minnesota right now is 18th against the run. They were second against the run a year ago. The whole thing is collapsing right now. But I think if they get good quarterback play, they can maybe get back in the race. But I think they just played themselves out of the race with poor quarterback play. All right, let's get to some other games. Yesterday I talked about the Giants and the Eagles, which I'll be at, Dallas and Denver, and what that game could be, and Green Bay and Pittsburgh on Sunday night. But there's other great games. We're in Week 8. These games are incredible here because Chicago goes to Baltimore, right? And the Bears are playing great football right now, right? So, they ran the ball exceptionally well last week. You look at, Chicago right now, right? They're 4-2. They've won 4 games in a row. Okay. Baltimore is 1-5. They're deep in the crypt. They're kicking sand on this team. But Lamar is coming back. He's practiced. I don't know how healthy Lamar is, but they're going to get Patrick Ricard. They're going to get Ronnie Stanley back. They're going to get Lamar back. And my guess is the run offense is going to show up. And the type of run offense that we were used to seeing a year ago, where it was impossible to stop. And if they get back on, if they can beat a good, solid team in Chicago at home, you could see Baltimore maybe putting a run together. Because after this, they go to Miami and to Minnesota. They play the Jets. I mean, you could see wins. You can start putting some wins down, but it's got to start this weekend in Baltimore. And I'm sure every single coach and player knows that. They're not looking ahead, but this because they play next Thursday night in Miami. But if they lose this game, it doesn't make any difference. I mean, they're going to be 1-6. There's no shot. I don't think they could win out. I don't believe that. So, but they're getting Roquan back. They got these safeties that they picked up, and they got another week in it. So this is huge. This is huge for Baltimore. They had the bye week last week. They had a week to kind of get rested, get right, to see if they can turn this thing around. All right, but that's going to be a good game because Chicago's playing good football. They're running the ball very well, and defensively they played very good last week. So I think this game is the season for Baltimore, and can Chicago stack their 5th win in a row? If they do, you start talking about Ben Johnson as a coach of the year. After all of the bad coaching, all of the bad decisions the Bears have made, if they get to 5-2 and 5 wins in a row, they're a player in the NFC North for sure. No matter what Green Bay or Detroit does, they're a player at 5-2. Because if you can win 5 in a row, you're a good football team in this league. I don't care what teams you beat. You can win 5 in a row. You've got some consistency, some coaching. You can handle success. It means a lot of things in this league. So this game is huge, in Baltimore, 1:00 on Sunday afternoon. The next game takes place just down the road on I-95. Buffalo, coming off a bye week, is playing Carolina. Carolina's won 3 in a row. And I got to tell you, for whatever reason, I watch every Carolina game. We know that Carolina can flat out run the football. They've got 2 guys that can do it, right? So we know that they have that. Bryce Young's not hurting, but defensively is where they really have started making some bones. We know that Dowdle and Hubbard are 2 good backs, but Rico looks special to me. But defensively, they've played very, very well. They've had 6 interceptions. We saw J.C. Horn with 2 interceptions last week. Derek Brown is flat out playing as well as any defensive tackle in the game today, number 95. Ashawn Robinson. Like, you can go through the guys. These 2 rookies out of Texas, Texas A&M, 2 rookies, Rico Scouten and the other kid from Ole Miss. Like, it's a good front. It's a really good front. And honestly, if Carolina finds a way to win the 4th in a row, like, this is one of the great turnarounds that we're seeing in real time. Because a year ago, we were ready to chase Zach Robinson out of there. Bryce Young stunk. He was being replaced. But Bryce Young has been pretty good. He's thrown 11 touchdown passes, 11, to 6 different receivers, 7 different receivers, right? So he's spreading it around. But 11 touchdown passes now in 6 games, it's pretty good for Bryce. He's on pace to, high 20s, maybe 30 touchdown passes if he stays in there and stays healthy. All right. That game has got my attention because, honestly, Derek Brown, like, I watched Carolina's defense just to watch Derek Brown. Like, that guy is throwing bodies, like, physically just mauling people, throwing bodies all over the place. They're fun to watch. Buffalo, we know, has had problems. We saw the last time we saw them, against Atlanta? They were awful. They scored 14 points, and defensively, they can't stop a nosebleed right now. They're giving up. Listen to this. The Buffalo Bills are giving up almost 6 yards a carry. I mean, it's historically bad, and they're playing a team that can run the football. I mean, really good. The guys up front, and they have had backup centers and right guards in there. They haven't even had their starters in Carolina, and they're running the ball great. Credit. But Buffalo hadn't been able to stop a nosebleed. So, they got Josh Allen, and you just think, okay, Josh can just make magic happen. Okay. He's got his offense line healthy. Okay. They're going up against a defense up front that's hard to run the ball against, and they can run the football. In fact, they're one of those teams in the league right now that has run it more than they've thrown it. So it's a great test. If Buffalo is going to win the division for, it's either the 5th or 6th year in a row. Like, I don't have it at the top of my head. It's either the 5th or 6th year. If they're going to do it again and take down, not let New England pass them by, they can't fall to 4-3. And so, and they had their bye week. So now this is it. The next 11 weeks, it's what they got. And can they stop the run? Because it doesn't matter if they get to the postseason. If this is something that's just going to stay with them, that they've got to turn this thing around now. And they drafted a lot of defensive linemen in these past couple of drafts to try to upgrade it. So we'll see. And then the last game is just a fun game. Honestly, it's San Francisco going to Houston. We know Houston is in a world of trouble. The offense doesn't look anything like we thought we'd see. And it is, they changed offense coordinators. They changed offensive line coaches, new guy calling the plays, a new offensive line, and they haven't been good. And CJ, as a result, looks like he's on a massive regression right now. Not even like a kind of a regression. Like, it looks significant right now in what CJ Stroud is doing. And so you watch him and you go, okay, they're 2-4. They got beat badly by Seattle. Now they're playing San Francisco. So, they got to play the NFC West in the schedule. They had one big blowout win against Baltimore the week before. They put up 44 points. But other than that, they have struggled. And so, I don't know that outside of Nico Collins, I don't know that they have a real viable threat right now. They got a couple of rookies out there in Higgins and Noel. We'll see how they develop. But watching San Francisco play last week was just a joy to watch. Robert Saleh might not have been the great head coach with the Jets. Who knows? They miss him for sure. But as a defensive coordinator, and, in this game, D'Amico Ryans has said that he would not be a head coach if it wasn't for watching, and coaching linebackers under Robert Saleh. So there's that connection. Saleh was linebacker coach when Robert Saleh was this is the timeline. Robert Saleh is defense coordinator in San Francisco. D'Amico Ryans comes in as the linebacker coach. Saleh leaves to go to the Jets, become the head coach. D'Amico gets elevated to defense coordinator, does a good job, gets a head coaching job. He's in his, 3rd year now in Houston. So there's a lot of respect there amongst D'Amico for Robert Saleh. But I got to tell you, if you just want to watch a team pursue to the football with max effort every play, watch the 49ers play defense last week. That was a joy to watch because there's a lot of guys that nobody knows. Chase Lucas, Sam Ukuanu, Upton Stout, Marquise Siegel, Tig Brown, Malik Mustafa. I mean, it's just one guy after another that you probably don't know about. Michael Williams, number 1 pick, Alfred Collins, number 2 pick. Okay. They had them all out there, and they played hungry, and they played hard. It was a joy. It's the way you got to play defense. And I'm sure when D'Amico Ryans – and look, Houston is a good defensive team, really good defensive team. In fact, I don't know that anybody has a lower quarterback rating against the defense than what Houston does right now. Their quarterback rating against their defense is a 68. There might be maybe another team that's down there with them. But this is going to be just a slugfest. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. But if San Francisco can find a way to get to their 6th win, even with the loss of their 2 best defensive players by far, Nick Bosa and Freddie, even with Fred Warner, even with the loss of those guys, and even with the loss of Brock Purdy for much of the season here, and not to mention the receivers, the whole group, it's amazing. It might be Kyle Shanahan's best coaching effort. So getting Saleh back makes him a better coach, no doubt about it. That defense is hungry. This is going to be a fun game to watch. Honestly, this is in Houston, okay? Mac Jones is playing very good football. He's taking care of the football. And Houston needs this game in the worst way. They're in a 3-game homestand right now against San Francisco, Denver, and Jacksonville. If they want to get back into this AFC South race that Indianapolis is running away with, they got to start stacking some wins. So, anyways, that's previewing Week 8. Appreciate you hanging there with me. I'll be back next Tuesday to talk about it, look back on it. These games only get bigger. And if teams are going to make any kind of a playoff run, if they're going to think about the playoffs, you have to be stacking wins. Like Chicago has stacked 4. Carolina has stacked 3. You got to start stacking wins. This is the time to do it. You want to go into November next week, with a little streak, some confidence, being able to play without starters, all those kind of things. So there is some great games. I've previewed 6 of them this week for you, and there's more than that. But anyways, that's all the time we have today. Thanks for joining me on the Best Football Show. Look forward to talking to you real soon, everybody.